My lord, all the disciples from Thunder Valley have been arranged to stay on the eastern side of Four-Cornered City. Inside Four-Cornered City, within the heavenly nether villa, in a splendid golden and jade house, Duan Tianhong and a guard appeared. The Deacon Feng, who had just been present, seemed to have gone to find someone, while Yuan Shao had returned after entering the city of Four-Cornered City in heavenly nether villa. The east side, the celestial energy and resources there seemed to only rank second within Four-Cornered City. Duan Tianhong, who had just raised a fine tea set to take a sip, frowned as he spoke. My lord, you may not know, but many factions from the four continents have come this time, and the forces from the northern continent are at the forefront, the guard quickly whispered, fearing Duan Tianhong might be displeased. After all, he was the ruler of the eastern continent, someone they couldn't afford to slight. Above the four continents, the northern continent is ranked first in strength, the western continent is second, we in the eastern continent are third, and the southern continent is at the bottom, Duan Tianhong slowly explained. Yes, my lord. Both top forces from the northern and western continents have arrived, so this four continents competition should be quite thrilling. The guard, relieved now that Duan Tianhong had not pressed further, finally relaxed. Go ahead. Just then, Deacon Feng, who had entered heavenly nether villa with Duan Tianhong, appeared again. Yes. The guard responded respectfully before leaving the room. How is it? As soon as Deacon Feng appeared, Duan Tianhong asked urgently. Deacon Feng had just left to find the Lord of Dimensions. After all, there were some things Duan Tianhong needed to hand over to the Lord of Dimensions to ensure their safety. Lord Duan, you must know the position of our heavenly nether villa, right? Soon after, Deacon Feng's face became slightly grim as he spoke. What's going on? Duan Tianhong furrowed his brows. After all, Deacon Feng's status and strength were far inferior to his own. He was only on their turf. Lord Duan, please don't misunderstand. Our heavenly nether villa was specially established by the Lord of Dimensions to manage and oversee all matters in the four continents. After all, the Lord of Dimensions is like a dragon, seen rarely, with no trace left behind, Deacon Feng explained with a smile. That guy, where has he gone again? Isn't he supposed to show up for such a grand event as the Four Continents competition? Duan Tianhong seemed to sense the absence of the Lord of Dimensions' presence, then spoke up. At the moment, the villa's master and the higher-ups are all busy planning for the competition, so they can't receive you, Lord Duan. We hope you won't be offended. As for the Lord of Dimensions, we will inform you immediately should we have any news about him, Deacon Feng continued with a smile. This guy, as expected, he's not here. Duan Tianhong sighed, laughing wryly. This Soul Heaven was managed by the Lord of Dimensions, but the Lord had always been a hands-off ruler. After establishing the heavenly nether villa, he handed over the management to them and wandered around. So few in the Soul Heaven had ever seen him. Forget it. I'll just have to take it one step at a time, Duan Tianhong said, slowly standing up. After all, the Thunder Emperor's scepter in his hand sealed many important things, and he hoped to hand it over to the Lord of Dimensions as soon as possible, so it would be much safer. Lord Duan, I have matters to attend to, so I won't see you off. Deacon Feng smiled as he saw Duan Tianhong heading out. Understood. Duan Tianhong replied as he headed toward their resting area. Deacon Feng, left alone in the room, muttered to himself, Duan Tianhong's strength is growing more formidable. After this four continents competition, the eastern continent may even rank second among the four continents. However, what could be the reason he is in such a hurry to find the Lord of Dimensions? Meanwhile, in the conference room at the center of Four-Cornered City, within Heavenly Nether Villa, deep in the core area of Heavenly Nether Villa, hidden beneath Four-Cornered City, few knew of its existence, and its security was exceptional. In the basement, dozens of figures stood silently. Among them, at least 3 were 5-star Dou Xian level experts, and the others were powerful 4-star Dou Xian practitioners. The man at the head of the group, dressed in elegant robes, exuded an extraordinary aura. His strength was likely beyond the 5-star Dou Xian realm. Everyone, what ideas do you have regarding the Four Continents competition? The man seated at the head slowly spoke, his voice filled with a pressure akin to that of the heavens and earth. Lord, in past competitions, you have created spatial rifts to provide the arena. However, with so many rifts, the traces of our presence are becoming more and more exposed. After all, Arene Soul Heaven is quite a peculiar place in the Ferocious Soul domain. What are your thoughts, Elder of Heaven? The master of Heavenly Nether Villa turned his gaze toward the old man. In both strength and status, the elder held considerable sway in the villa, and his unique position gave his words significant weight. In Arene Soul Heaven, we have many humans, and the feud with the extraterritorial evil clan runs deep. If we were to create a spatial rift this time, it might provide an opportunity for the evil clan to exploit. After all, a not insignificant force of the evil clan recently appeared in the eastern continent, though the outcome remains unknown. The Elder of Heaven slowly raised his head, casting a distant glance before speaking again. For this competition, I suggest we use the sealed grounds as the focal point. At that moment, the Elder's pupils unfocused, and an overwhelming pressure began radiating from him. The sealed grounds? Master, absolutely not. The sealed grounds were only barely sealed through the immense effort of the Lord of Dimensions. If we open them, it could lead to catastrophe. That place seals an Emperor-tier powerhouse from the evil clan, equivalent to a human at the 6-star Dou Xian level. If such a being escapes, it would wreak havoc on the great thousand worlds. A middle-aged man's eyes turned sharp as he countered. Elder of Heaven, my apologies, but I suspect your motives. I propose placing you under confinement. The middle-aged man's aura exploded with an overwhelming force. I foresaw this, the elder chuckled coldly. As the guardian of the sealed grounds, I can assure you that the sealing power within is weakening. Without reinforcement, it won't hold for much longer. If the Lord of Dimensions remains absent, it could spell disaster for all of us. Moreover, the Lord of Dimensions has been elusive for centuries. It's imperative we take precautions, the elder added, his tone calm but firm. Weakened sealing power? Is this true? The dozens of high-ranking members in the chamber looked unsettled. Though Heavenly Nether Villa oversaw Arene Soul Heaven across the 4 continents, it also bore the responsibility of suppressing the evil clan. It is true, the Elder of Heaven confirmed. If that's the case, I understand. The Master of Heavenly Nether Villa's gaze deepened, and his tone carried a quiet resolve. At that moment, countless powerful figures converged on Four-Cornered City, making the space around Heavenly Nether Villa grow increasingly vibrant. The next day, as sunlight poured over the land, a new day began as usual. I finally feel better. After a full day's rest, Xiao Yan's vitality was fully restored. Xiao Yan, the Valley Master wants to see you. Lu Qing knocked on Xiao Yan's door and informed him before returning to her own quarters. The Valley Master? Could it be about meeting the Lord of Dimensions? Xiao Yan wondered aloud, excitement flickering in his eyes. He had long wanted to meet this figure who commanded all of Arene Soul Heaven. As Xiao Yan got up to find Duan Tianhong, a sudden, searing pain erupted in his chest where the sacred flame heart resided. Hiss! Xiao Yan gasped, cold sweat beading on his forehead. The pain was bone-deep, and within the sacred flame heart, he sensed a faint trace of Mu Yingying's aura. What's happening? Xiao Yan realized the pain seemed like a warning for Mu Yingying. The ethereal ice flame is a pure entity, uniquely sensitive to malicious forces. Such a violent reaction suggests the presence of the evil clan within Heavenly Nether Villa, the Devourer of Souls explained. Even this core of the 4 continents has been infiltrated by the evil clan? Xiao Yan's brows furrowed deeply. He already knew from the Eastern Continent's events that the evil clan possessed methods to suppress the sacred flame, though their specifics remained elusive. Who said infiltrated? It could be related to the seals or other circumstances, the Devourer of Souls retorted. This is the Lord of Dimensions domain. Although I can't sense his presence, the defenses and vigilance here are far beyond what minor agents could breach. Forget it. Master of the Valley, you were looking for me? As soon as Xiao Yan arrived at Duan Tianhong's house, he noticed the father and daughter leisurely enjoying tea. He knocked on the door and asked, "I have something to discuss with you." This time, the Four Continents competition is crucial for our Eastern Continent's ranking, and this ranking directly impacts our future cultivation resources. So, you must give it your all. Moreover, if you perform exceptionally well, I can recommend you to join a major power within the Ferocious Soul domain. With such a connection, your future accomplishments will be limitless. Duan Tianhong smiled as he spoke. Understood, Xiao Yan responded, his tone slightly heavy. He returned to his room, still unable to figure out Duan Tianhong's true intentions. Father. Watching Xiao Yan leave, Duan Qifei gazed at him with soft, tender eyes and said in a gentle voice, "This person has a special identity. I hope that you too." Duan Tianhong spoke earnestly. It was rare to see his daughter treat a man with such affection. As a reincarnator, Duan Qifei could easily be introduced to the higher-ups of the Ferocious Soul domain. As for Xiao Yan, with his mysterious abilities such as the Heavenly Seed Sacred Flame, he was likely to join the Ferocious Soul domain as well. In such a world filled with genius, the two of them supporting each other would make the future much easier. Father, don't worry about our matters. Duan Qifei's face turned red as she looked at her father's calculating expression. She then abruptly left the room. She understood her father's good intentions, but, as a reincarnator, she deliberately suppressed any feelings of attraction. After all, with great power comes great responsibility. These two. Duan Tianhong sighed with a helpless smile. This old man, what is he up to? Xiao Yan muttered to himself when he returned to his room, clearly puzzled about why Duan Tianhong had called for him. Forget it. Since there's still time, I'll focus on mastering the array techniques again. Xiao Yan decided to stop overthinking and slowly took out the array technique insights that Yuan Yin had previously given him from his storage ring. Hee, this is a good item. The mighty reputation of Yuan's sect can't be summed up in just a few words. Although the scroll doesn't contain the core array techniques of Yuan's sect, it should be more than enough for you at your current level. The Devourer of Souls casually remarked after glancing at the scroll. Xiao Yan nodded eagerly, then, with a burning gaze, he set up a soul barrier to envelop his room. His palms shimmered with radiant spiritual energy as he gently traced the scroll. Boom! Suddenly, terrifying waves of energy slowly radiated from the scroll. Array techniques rely on core inscriptions, using arrays against arrays, with no array undefeatable. The formation is made up of the simplest array diagrams and later, array stones and array runes. An array diagram is a complete record of a formation. With it, one can easily deploy the formation. However, those who use array diagrams are often outsiders, and the power of an array deployed using an array diagram is much weaker compared to a battle array master's technique. That's because arrays deployed using a diagram lack the soul. As we all know, as a battle array master, to condense an array, substantial mental energy is required to support it. From there, the innate inscription is used to activate the core inscriptions, forming the foundation of the formation. The core inscriptions activated by the innate inscription are known as array runes. The strength of the array depends on the number of array runes. Finally, there is the array stone. An array stone is a special object that carries the array runes. It is invisible and intangible, forming on its own based on the number of runes and the strength of the mental energy involved. A weak battle array master or a novice would spread the array runes within the formation to try to enhance its strength. However, as their energy depletes, these runes can easily be wiped out by someone trapped in the formation, leaving the user in a perilous situation. The array stone, however, is the perfect concealment for the runes, allowing the formation's power to be maximized. Ancient information seemed to flow from the scroll, slowly pouring into Xiao Yan's mind. So, I made a huge mistake before, Xiao Yan realized, a cold sweat breaking out as he recalled how, in the past, he had only scattered the runes throughout the array, which was a grave mistake for a proper array master. It seems the art of battle arrays is truly profound. In the future, when fighting, I can prepare array stones in advance and hide the runes within them. In a crisis, I can use them to create unexpected effects. Xiao Yan slowly nodded in understanding. With a rustling sound, Xiao Yan was immersed in reading a scroll containing insights on formations. At the same time, his understanding of battle array mastery had advanced significantly, bringing him to a true level of expertise. If he were to engage in battle now, he would no longer feel as exhausted as before. The Four Continents competition was being held at Heavenly Nether Villa, and as a result, powerful warriors from all over the Four Continents had already started arriving. With a month still remaining before the competition began, many factions that had already reached Four Cornered City were quietly resting and training, awaiting the upcoming contest. Meanwhile, in a distant land, far beyond the reach of the mortal world, a peculiar event was unfolding in a certain part of the Ferocious Soul Domain, the highest authority governing in Soul Heaven. Has Xun'er arrived yet? He's the one who summoned us, and yet he hasn't shown up. What's taking him so long? In an exquisite, ancient cabin, two figures stood. One of them a man whose face was dark and uncertain, exuding an air of violence and bloodlust. He slowly turned to the other person and asked. Inside the ancient cabin, the two figures appeared somewhat solitary. The man and woman, both surrounded by a layer of pitch-black ghostly energy that obscured their forms, were clearly not normal humans. The man was suffused with eerie and sinister ghostly energy, while the woman's aura was similar, hinting at their unnatural origins. In Soul Heaven has a special nature. It's expected that Xun'er would be late. After all, he's used to living a carefree life. The woman slowly rose and spoke. Suddenly, with a strange sound, a crack in space materialized next to the wooden table. A small child's figure emerged from the rift. Xun'er, watch your manners. You are the Lord of Soul Heaven. The man with the uncertain expression saw the child, and his face turned strange. He could not help but exclaim, Black Corpse King, when did you become so irritable? The child spoke casually, completely unfazed by the violent tone in the man's voice. The child's eyes sparkled with a lightness and clarity that contrasted sharply with the ominous energy surrounding the two adults. His body radiated a vast and righteous energy, completely different from the ghostly aura clinging to the other two. Since everyone's here, let's begin, the man with the fluctuating expression said, ignoring the child's words. He muttered resentfully, You two, always in such a hurry. Truly. The child smiled, revealing a row of neat teeth. Humph. Xun'er, don't play coy. If it weren't for you controlling this rich land of Soul Heaven, how could you possibly have such power? Black Corpse King coldly said, his ghostly aura thickening as if it could erupt like a volcano at any moment. Soul Heaven is different from your planes. It has absorbed too many outsiders, so as the lord of this plane, I have a responsibility to protect it, Xun'er said calmly. If anyone tries to take it from me or harm it in any way, don't blame me for being ruthless. Vroom. As his voice faded, a terrifying gust of wind burst forth from his body. The seemingly unremarkable wind carried an immense force capable of obliterating even a 5-star Dou Xian. This guy's power is truly growing stronger, Black Corpse King thought, feeling a sense of wariness. This guy's cultivation technique is quite peculiar. It's said to be based on continuous rebirth and seeking hosts to parasitize, though most of the ones he parasitizes are already dying. Still, it's quite effective. The woman nodded slowly, her expression filled with a warm smile as she gazed at the child. The three figures present were all lords of their respective planes under the Ferocious Soul Domain, powerful beings who ruled over their domains. Now, they had gathered together to discuss the matter of providing fresh blood to the Ferocious Soul Domain. After all, the Ferocious Soul Domain was the core area where the master of the domain, the Ferocious Soul Lord, resided. As their ruler, they were obligated to send fresh souls to sustain it. The Black Corpse Abyss is also an upper plane under the jurisdiction of the Ferocious Soul Domain, but it is inhabited entirely by bloodthirsty soul beings. They have a deep craving for battle and blood, and their thirst for the countless humans in Soul Heaven is even more intense. Because the entrances to the ghost realm and the human realm have been sealed, their only hope of feeding on human blood lies within Soul Heaven. This has led to a rather precarious situation for Soul Heaven within the Ferocious Soul Domain. the Lord of the Ghost Abyss Ridge, three-faced apparition. The Ghost Abyss Ridge is also an upper plane within the Ferocious soul domain, inhabited by wandering souls and ghosts. However, these beings are relatively gentle by nature, and under the mysterious rule of three-faced apparition, they are unexpectedly united. Let's begin. This time, fresh blood will be sent to the Ferocious soul domain from our three planes, but the slots are pitifully few. I've gathered you here to assess how you've handled this matter, the child said as he sat beside a wooden table, speaking softly. Even the Black Corpse King, despite his burning urgency for in-soul heaven, dared not act recklessly. One major reason was that Chen Mo seemed to have some indescribable connection with the Lord of the Ferocious soul, and not to mention, Chen Mo's strength far surpassed his own. We in the Ghost Abyss Ridge are already conducting the selection. Once it's done, all the outstanding beings will be sent to the Ferocious soul domain for the Lord of the Ferocious soul to choose from, three-faced apparition said nonchalantly. As for how many will be selected, that depends on their fate, he added. We in the Black Corpse Abyss are holding a selection based primarily on slaughter, and in the end, we will choose one king of massacre to send to the Ferocious soul domain, the Black Corpse King said slowly. We in in-soul heaven will base our selection on the 4 continents competition, choosing outstanding disciples to join the Ferocious soul domain. The child thought for a moment before speaking slowly. However, he seemed to recall that he hadn't returned in hundreds of years. If it weren't for the regular reports from the owner of Heavenly Nether Villa, he might have forgotten that he was the Lord of the Plane. After all, his cultivation method was quite unique. He could only increase his strength by continuously departing from suffering, seeking out those on the verge of death, and parasitizing within them to fulfill their wishes, thereby drawing power from the subtle energy involved. I understand. The master asked me to gather you for this. Go ahead and prepare, the child said, and as soon as the words left his mouth, he vanished. Sigh, forget it. The Black Corpse King watched the child disappear, the resentment in his heart slowly dissipating. Putting aside their identities as Lords of Plains, just Chen Mo's otherworldly strength alone was something he couldn't contend with. Moreover, Chen Mo was also the trusted aide of the Lord of the Ferocious soul. If he were to rashly accuse Chen Mo, it could provoke the Lord's anger, and that was not something a mere small plain lord like himself could bear. Heavenly Nether Villa, nestled in the special inner space of the Heavenly Nether Mountain Range, was quite unique. At this moment, thousands of meters below the surface of the endless dust sea outside the Heavenly Nether Mountain Range, the sea domain had always been a forbidden zone for human life, filled not only with countless mysteries and unknowns, but also with many peculiar species. These species were highly united but harbored a deep hatred for humans, which naturally led to their hostility toward human beings. Master, you called for me? A voice rang out from beneath the sea, thousands of meters down, at a mysterious reef, where massive silver shackles covered the area. Intricate, frightening, pure patterns emerged silently on these silver shackles. At the center of these shackles, a force of cold indifference and savagery tightly bound the entire 100-meter-wide sea region. No one could enter, and a colossal creature was firmly held within. It seems that some uninvited guests have arrived for the 4 continents competition. The massive, shackled being said slowly, its voice filled with anger. Master, our Hidden Soul Society has tried to intercept the participants of the 4 continents competition, but almost all of our efforts have been in vain. This time, the competition will likely be unprecedented. A man spoke up. The man was none other than Bai Hun, the one responsible for trying to eliminate Xiao Yan and his companions, and the mysterious being bound by the silver shackles was one of the top minds in their Hidden Soul Society. The Hidden Soul Society was a highly secretive organization, seemingly at odds with the Heavenly Nether Villa. They had been in constant conflict, but no matter how many powerful individuals the Heavenly Nether Villa sent to hunt them down, they would easily escape. The overall strength of the Hidden Soul Society was certainly not as formidable as that of the Heavenly Nether Villa, but they had the advantage of controlling the ocean's terrain and timing. The ruler of the Hidden Soul Society, known as the Sea Chief, was the one who commanded the entire organization. The giant creature before them was one of the intellects of the Hidden Soul Society, and even the legendary Sea Chief had to show respect when meeting it. Although most members of the Hidden Soul Society had no idea what the true form of this giant was. This time, the 4 continents competition will be the grandest ever, but at the same time, it will also be the best opportunity for us, the Hidden Soul Society. The giant creature spoke slowly, its voice carrying an urgent tone. Take this and find the Sea Chief. This time, we must go to war with the heavenly Nether Villa once and for all. At that moment, a green arm slowly emerged from the body of the giant. The arm was surrounded by green energy, perfectly preserved. Boom! As the green arm approached Bai Hun's breath became erratic. This item was clearly no ordinary object, and the green energy surrounding it made it impossible to break the seal for now. Go! After completing the task, the giant spoke again. Understood, Bai Hun replied respectfully, taking the ominous green arm with him as he headed towards the Sea Chief's dwelling. Heavenly Nether King, you sealed me for thousands of years. This time, I will make sure to settle the old and new scores. Rustle. At that moment, the giant released a strange fluctuation and then became quiet. Cooperation? Below, deeper in the ocean, a magnificent crystal palace slowly unfolded beneath the sea. Who would have known that, thousands of meters under the ocean, there existed such a rare and exquisite crystal palace? Inside the palace, a man sat at the throne. Before him a strange and ominous black mist wriggled. The black mist was extremely eerie, but if Xiao Yan were present, he would recognize the aura instantly. It was from the Soul Hall. Sea Chief, with the 4 continents competition approaching, our Soul Hall wishes to cooperate with you to help you eliminate the heavenly Nether Villa's strongest, and in return, we will collect their souls. A win-win situation? The Soul Hall expert, surrounded by ghostly energy, was indistinguishable in form. The heavenly Nether Villa is not so easy to deal with. After all, it was created by the Lord of Dimensions, and who knows what defenses the Lord of Dimensions may have left against us. The Sea Chief furrowed his brows, rejecting the proposal. I remember that the Sea Chief was once defeated by the heavenly Nether King with a single strike, and your brother was completely sealed by him. These grievances are certainly... The Soul Hall expert spoke again, clearly confident that this time, victory was assured. Enough. Don't think that because you're from the Soul Hall, I won't dare to do anything to you. If you continue like this, you will only have death to pay for your insolence. A look of hatred flashed in the Sea Chief's eyes as his hand slammed heavily onto the throne, causing the entire space to emanate a heavy sense of oppression. The Sea Chief's strength is truly overwhelming. However, if the Sea Chief is willing to cooperate, our Soul Hall will dispatch strong warriors to assist you, and we will also provide all intelligence about the heavenly Nether Villa. The Soul Hall expert spoke again. What is the real reason behind your Soul Hall's actions? I don't believe that you are only after collecting souls. The Sea Chief snorted, then spoke coldly. This time, the main goal is to capture a boy named Xiao Yan. The Soul Hall expert's lips curled into a sinister smile. Xiao Yan? The Sea Chief was taken aback. Just a mere ant who has disrupted the affairs of our Soul Hall. Once I capture him, I'll make sure he suffers a fate worse than death. The Soul Hall expert said slowly. Since the incident in the Eastern continent, when the 5 Soul Guards were captured, the Soul Hall leadership had paid great attention to the matter. Moreover, after using some underhanded means, they uncovered Xiao Yan's true identity. Xiao Yan was actually a figure who had ascended from the Dou Xian continent, which was also the origin of the Soul Hall. However, for some unknown reason, the flow of faith from the Dou Xian continent had suddenly been interrupted. Coupled with various other factors, the Soul Hall was now in a hurry to capture Xiao Yan. In addition, there was another important reason. The Soul Hall wanted to uncover the secret behind the disappearance of the Xiao clan. After all, the Xiao clan was one of the most powerful forces in the Great Thousand Worlds. Their sudden disappearance must have some hidden reason. Since Xiao Yan carried the bloodline of the Xiao clan, capturing him would allow the Soul Hall to uncover the mystery of the clan's disappearance. Good, it's a deal. The sea leader of the Hidden Soul Society spoke slowly, his voice filled with a trace of anger after a moment of contemplation. The shame of losing the battle and the matter of his brother being sealed. He, as the esteemed sea leader, must get them back. Then may we achieve a victory at the outset, he added, a strange smile playing on his lips, as if scheming something. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. During these 10 days, Xiao Yan remained shut away in seclusion, diligently studying the array insights that Yuan Yin had provided. His understanding and use of formations had reached a new level, no longer making the rookie mistake of scattering array patterns improperly within a formation. From now on, his array-based powers would be much stronger in combat. Array arts are indeed vast and profound, Xiao Yan said, slowly rolling up the scroll before stretching his body. These 10 days of intense, almost obsessive practice had greatly benefited Xiao Yan, but such high-intensity training had also left him mentally and physically drained. I remember the guide saying this place has many miraculous pills and elixirs. I wonder if I can find the last ingredient I need. After all, the undying fire is something even Master highly praised. Let's head to the medicine market and take a look, Xiao Yan muttered, then quietly left his dwelling and made his way toward the medicine market. Undying fire, huh? If I truly master it, perhaps I could achieve true immortality. If paired with the undying flame, invincibility at this level might be possible, and there could even be a chance to step into that supreme path. The devourer of souls murmured with a smile, hearing Xiao Yan's words. However, there was something the devourer of souls had hidden from Xiao Yan. His resurrection not only required the treasures from the ferocious soul domain, but also needed the power of 3 sacred flames to assist. One without the other would not work. As for Xiao Yan, he only possessed 2 sacred flames, the Fire Heart Skyrock and the Ghost Face Soul Flame. As for Mu Yingying's ethereal heart flame, in order to preserve its original sacred flame power and facilitate the future resurrection using the missing heartbreaking flame, Xiao Yan had already resolved not to use it. Therefore, the quest for the undying fire had become his top priority. This, however, was partly due to Mu Yingying's sacrifice and the oversight of the Devourer of Souls, so the Devourer did not tell Xiao Yan this crucial detail. The medicine market was located not far from their residence, in a densely populated area. In the 4 districts of the four-cornered city, east, south, west, and north, each had its own medicine market and buildings to support the city's prosperity. What a bustling place! Xiao Yan noticed the rich fragrance of medicinal pills wafting through the air as he walked. He smiled and said, "The medicine market." Looking up, he saw 2 large, eye-catching characters, "Medicine Market," suspended in midair in a nearby alley, directly in front of him. This must be it. I hope it doesn't disappoint, he murmured to himself before stepping inside. Since he had slipped out quietly, he didn't need to worry about alerting Duan Qifei or the others. After all, too many people would be a hassle, especially since each of them was unique and could attract attention. Emperor Tier 3rd Grade Heavenly Pill. Essence Storing Pill. Use it to boost your strength by nearly 50% in a short time. Don't miss it. Immortal Tier 4th Grade Pill. Tribulation Life Pill. After taking it, it reduces the danger of the Dou Xian tribulation and has a tiny chance to eliminate the tribulation altogether. As soon as Xiao Yan entered the medicine market, a long path lined with vendors selling their wares greeted him, with the sounds of their calls filling the air. While the four-cornered city was mostly home to contributors from the 4 continents, many powerful figures lived here too. Some of them had descendants, and a few even enjoyed this bustling, thriving lifestyle. Thus, the medicine market was quite lively. These pills and herbs, though of decent grade, aren't what I need. Xiao Yan walked along, scanning the various miraculous elixirs and pills displayed along the side of the path. Among them were some immortal tier pills, even as high as 5th grade immortal tier, but those required valuable items in exchange, not exactly what Xiao Yan was looking for. His main goal in the search for the undying fire was not only the undying mystic sparrow battle soul, but also the undying leaf and the corresponding medicinal pills prepared with devouring sacred flame. All that remained was the final ingredient, which was the one Xiao Yan most urgently needed. Medicine Pavilion? After walking for a while, Xiao Yan noticed that the items on display were not what he sought. He looked up and saw an imposing building before him, exuding a majestic aura. Pill mist? Xiao Yan couldn't help but mutter to himself. Pill mist, as it's called, is a special gas produced by high-grade pills, and prolonged exposure can bring unimaginable benefits to alchemists. Let's go take a look. Xiao Yan slowly moved, preparing to head towards the medicine pavilion. Heh, kid. Look at the old man with white hair over there. Go take a look. In an instant, the devourer of souls spoke up. Old man. Xiao Yan replied upon hearing this. Although he didn't understand, he suppressed his curiosity for the moment and walked up to the old man's stall, asking slowly, "May I ask, old man, what is this? What's the matter, kid?" The white-haired elder opened his eyes and gave a slow glance, asking, "This is my first time at this medicine pavilion. I have some questions I'd like to ask the elder." Xiao Yan smiled. With his exceptional soul power, he could clearly sense that the old man was no ordinary person. This little brat, interesting. The white-haired elder glanced at Xiao Yan carefully and then spoke. "Old man, what's the difference between the medicine pavilion and the medicine market?" Xiao Yan slowly looked at the elder in front of him and asked. On the old man's stall were some unremarkable porcelain-like items. However, with his keen senses, Xiao Yan discovered that these oddly shaped porcelain pieces were actually objects similar to spatial rings. Typically, only spatial rings are used to store items, but these antique porcelain objects were several times larger than spatial rings, requiring not just incredibly powerful soul energy, but also some unique secret methods to use. This suggested that the old man's identity was likely far from ordinary. In the medicine market, the medicine pavilion is the largest, and the market is managed by the medicine pavilion. The old man said slowly, a smile creeping into his voice. "I see." Xiao Yan nodded and then continued. "So what's the difference between the medicine market and the medicine pavilion?" The medicine market is mostly a place where random people buy and sell things, but the medicine pavilion has a clear division of labor. It keeps the privacy of both buyers and sellers, which is why it is highly regarded by everyone. The elder smiled. "Thank you for your guidance, senior." Xiao Yan bowed slightly with a smile, then stepped towards the mysterious medicine pavilion. This kid, such profound soul power at such a young age, and he carries familiar waves of energy. Looks like the 4 continents competition is going to be interesting this time. The elder muttered to himself before collecting the antique porcelain items from his stall. "Elder Tian, what are you doing here? Please go ahead." As Xiao Yan disappeared, a man appeared from within the medicine pavilion and approached the elder with a flattering smile.